Hello everybody and welcome back to the show. Today I wanted to talk to you about a subject that often comes up in YouTube videos, which is the subject of homage watches and whether they are a good or a bad thing. Now, in my opinion, which will be explained during this video, I actually think it's quite a good thing. And I've got 5 reasons why they're a good thing and 4 things that you should obviously avoid as well. So I think there's a lot of confusion when it comes to homage watches, and I want to do my best to try and clear that up for you. So before we begin, this is the first time I've appeared in front of the camera. Usually I'm camera down reviewing watches. So this is me, hello, and this is the office. So I've got my knickknacks in the back, and I've also got my review station here, which is where I review watches, and I've got a couple of watches already lined up for some reviews that will be coming on in the next couple of days' time. So, to cut a long story watch, homage watches, why are they so hated amongst YouTubers and also loved by others? Why do some people always go for homage watches over premium brands, and why do some people poo-poo it unless it's just a premium brand? So I think we should find out. So first of all, let's explore 5 reasons why people should buy a homage watch. So reason number 1, they allow you to try new styles. I mean, this is the basics of a homage watch, is that it emulates a style which people can then have on their wrist. So for example, if you're a big fan of diving watches, then you can get very inexpensive homage watches that are made to a very good quality and high standard for a fraction of the price, just because you're not paying for a branded name. So that's the first reason to buy it. But also, if you're typically a guy that likes divers watches like myself, or if you like dress watches and you see something that is a homage watch, it allows you to try a different style. So maybe you're going to go for a diver's watch this time, maybe you're going to go for a dress watch the next time, and what that's going to allow you to do is to try on new watches and say, actually, do I like this style? Do I not like this style? Is it worth me investing any more money to get something else along that same sort of trajectory and sort of line? And as a result, I've done this myself, and I've actually found new styles that I prefer. So for example, I was always into divers watches, but I realised after getting a few homage watches that I quite liked my chronographs, so I've got a couple of chronographs now. I also like my dress watches now as well, and it comes from taking a punt on things, not spending a huge amount of money to begin with, so under $100, getting something that is nice, wearable on the wrist, and getting used to it, and then taking things from there. Point number 2 is it gives you a great understanding of horology, gives you a bit of history on it there. So most people who live in sort of my wage bracket, and people who will want to get these homage watches, they have one of 2 choices. If you've got $100 to $200 to spend on a watch, you've got one of 2 choices to make nowadays. You either buy a homage watch or you buy a fashion watch. And what homage watches tend to have, which fashion watches don't have, is they have automatic movements, they have Seiko movements within them, they've got sapphire crystals, they've got a lot of stainless steel, you've got a myriad of different choices that go outside of what fashion brands tend to be. Now, I know I'm using a generalisation. I know that you can buy for $200, you can buy some other premium brands that have their own unique design, like Orient, for example, and even some Seikos. But the way that I'm sort of portraying things at the moment is that actually, for, you know, if you've got choices of either getting a fashion brand watch or getting a Chinese special or something else that is in the homage category, and you know that it is built well and built to last, my money every single time will go towards the Chinese special and not towards the fashion watches. Now, unlike a lot of YouTubers, I have nothing against fashion watches whatsoever. In fact, I think they have a very important role to play in horology. So brands like Daniel Wellington, Vincero, some of the other ones, although I would never buy them myself, what they do is they get people into watches. They buy their first one, they buy a Vincero, and then they think to themselves, actually, I want to go for something different this time. But it gets people into wearing watches which fell out of favour for quite a few years, and now it's getting back into things again. And I have to say, when I was first getting into watches, some of the adverts I saw were actually of Vinceros. I never bought one myself, but looking at the designs of the Vinceros, I thought to myself, right, okay, let's have a look and see what else is available on the market as well. And it was just through doing that research, through having the marketing for Vincero chucked down my throat, which then made me think, actually, you know, watches, I do like watches, and maybe it's time to start looking at some of the designs. So, point number 3, I've already gone through this one already, or to some extent, but it allows you to have watches at a price that is affordable to you. Let's be honest with us, how many people who are going to watch this video have a Rolex Submariner? Not many people, but how many people on this video will have a Invicta Pro Diver, or will have a Sterling, or will have a L'Oreal, or will have a Pangani design? There are lots of different brands out there that offer some great homages. I know that I've just gone through subby homages, but you've got other brands like Polaris as well, which do Planet Ocean, and a couple of others that do some Omega nods as well, which are incredibly well built. A lot of them are made, you know, to last. You've got sapphire crystal, you've got stainless steel, you've got Seiko movements in them as well, so the movements aren't bad, and essentially you're getting that design. What you're not getting is the brand name. And for me, as people would say in the UK, I'm not much of a brand slag, so I don't tend to follow brands, I tend to follow looks and styles. So for example, what I'm wearing today, this is a real Ralph Lauren that I'm wearing, but if it had been any other brand, I would have bought it anyway, because I enjoy the look and I enjoy the feel that these quality materials sort of have. It's the same with watches. I will always go for a watch that I think looks good over a brand name, and that's incredibly important, especially when it comes to price as well. So when you've got something that is £10,000, £5,000, or you've got something that is made to last, obviously it's not going to be exactly the same as whatever costs 5 to 10 grand, but it's going to be very well made, it's going to be built to last, it's going to have all of the extra added features that you're going to need for everyday life, then my money would always go towards these homages. And that's just, for me, it's just common sense. You know, I'm not going to spend tens of thousands of pounds on a dive watch, because I'm not a diver. I'm not going to be diving in the sea anytime soon. I'm a swimmer, I swim, so having a watch that has 100 meters of water resistance is perfect for me, because that's one that you can use for swimming, everyday swimming. And I'll do a video on the different types of water pressures soon, and sort of, you know, where that, what that should do with your buying process anyway. But yes, good thing about those watches, just to summarize point number 3, is that you can get a good watch for a fraction of the price. Now, point number 4 is a little bit of a weird one. So with point number 4, I really enjoy the hunt, and if this is hunting for watches, so I tend to spend a lot of time on AliExpress, on eBay, on Amazon, and on pretty much any other sort of area, Etsy as well in the UK. I don't go the witch direction, because there are too many fakes out there, but I enjoy going on those sites and having a hunt for things, looking for a watch. A lot of the time when I'll buy a watch on there, I won't go on there with a specific watch style in my mind. I will go on there just to have a look and see what's available. You see a design you like, and then you start comparing it with others. So I usually have maybe two or three screens sort of split open, many tabs open on different sides, and I'll just have a look and start comparing them. I'll see a watch that I'll think, oh, that's really good, it's a really nice steel watch. But then I'll see another one that is of a similar design to it, and I'll compare them, and I'll think, actually, the one of a similar design is a little better. I think I'll probably go for that one instead. And so for me, that is, you know, it's all part and parcel of the watch hunting game. And if you've got money, especially when you get paid, it's always good to have a little bit of a hunt around. There's always a sale going on AliExpress, other areas as well. For example, if you've got Amazon Prime like I have, sometimes you've got a lot of deals and discounts on there as well. And on eBay, one of the great things about it, especially if you are into vintage watches and hunting for watches in that sort of sense, a lot of people are open for offers as well, so you can make them an offer and see where it gets you. And it's all it's all fun and it's all part of the horology experience, which everybody tends to love and enjoy. And for me, this probably over everything else is one of the reasons why I really enjoy looking and digging down and trying to find these good Homage watches. And point number 5 is that they are just fun. It's a lot of fun looking for Homage watches, a lot of fun getting that watch, unboxing it. I love, for me, I'd much rather spend £1,000 and get 5 different watches than spend £5,000 or so and just get the one watch to unbox every month. I love unboxing them, I love looking at them, I love looking at the little quirks behind them, some of the things they do have, some of the things they don't have, and I love that sort of eclectic feel that I have, especially when it comes to watches. I love so many different designs and so many different styles of watches. I've recently got back into NATO straps again, I've gone into your stainless steel straps, all that kind of stuff. And I really love it when you can buy a watch and tinker with it and feel as if you can as well. So that's something else that a price point allows you to do. If you're spending less than $100 on a watch, or if you're spending $200 on a watch, it means that at times you can feel as if you can tinker with them a little bit. You can understand the watch a little bit more. You can see what quirks are there, what quirks aren't there, instead of spending, 5, 8, 10, 15, 20 grand on a watch and just not being able to really enjoy it. I would forever be worried. If I had a Rolex, I would probably never wear it because I would just be so terrified of damaging the watch in some way or another, which is a bit silly because, at the end of the day, watches are meant to be worn, they're meant to be a thing of glory. But for me, I just always have to treat things with a little bit of respect and to be realistic as well when I've got these watches too. So number 5, they are just fun. So now we've looked at 5 reasons why Homage watches are a good buy. So let's have a look at some watches that we definitely shouldn't be buying under any circumstances whatsoever. So point number 1 is that under no circumstances should you ever buy a counterfeit watch. So these are watches which aren't homages, they're straight copies, usually really bad copies, and they've got the logo of whatever it is that's being copied on there. So I can't name any names because I don't want to be held liable, but there are certain websites which I like to avoid like the plague, and it's because you see a lot of fake watches on there. So you see a lot of fake Rolexes, you see a lot of fake Tudors, a lot of fake Omegas, a lot of fake Tissots and all of the other style of watches. And every so often you'll come across genuine mid-level watches, but that doubt is always there in your mind. You think to yourself, well, if they've got those fake ones, what else is fake they've got on there as well? Now, to be clear, some of these websites, it's the sellers, not the website platform itself, but I think there's a lot that needs to be done for those website platforms to close in on those people that are selling those counterfeit items. So one, definitely avoid a counterfeit option. How do we know it's counterfeit? Well, first of all, if you're being sold it with no warranty, if it's not an official recognised dealer, more than likely it's going to be a counterfeit. Secondly, if the price is too good to be true. So let me give you an example of too good to be true. So on one of these websites I was looking at the other day and doing research for this video, I found a Rolex Submariner, obviously counterfeit, a Tudor Black Bay, and a Omega Seamaster. Now, the Omega Seamaster, Tudor Black Bay, I would expect them to retail for between $3,000 to $5,000, depending on the models, the makes, the year, and all of that kind of stuff. And obviously, Rolly, the Submariner, 9 grand, 10 grand, 15 grand. I don't really get involved in that sort of top end of stuff, but that's what you expect. You expect thousands of pounds and potentially tens of thousands of pounds. Not on this website. They had genuine Omegas watches for $100. You had Tudor Black Bay watches for $60 or $70, and then you had a Rolex Submariner for under $30. Those ones obviously fake. Obviously, if those prices are too good to be true, they are going to be fake. But please, 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 just keep your eye out on it. Have a look at those watches as well. So if you really do want to get a Tudor or a Rolex, I'd probably get a Tudor over a Rolex, to be honest with you. I prefer the design of it any day. But if you were to do that, if that was something that you were wanting to get, then what I would do is I would do some research. I'd have a look on the official websites of these places, and I would then find the authorized dealers that they work with to then make sure that you got something genuine. And the reason why I do that is because you know that you're getting the genuine article, you know that you're getting the warranty with it, and you know 100% that what you've got is from Tudor, from Rolex, from Omega, from any of those premium brands out there. So always do that. Yes, you can go to somewhere a bit, let's say, less reputable, or somewhere that sells them second hand with their own warranty, so what people would call the grey market. Feel free to do that if that's your game. If you bought from them before, feel free to do it. But if you haven't, I would always say spend that little bit extra money, get the warranty, get the manufacturer's warranty, and get something that you know 100% is genuine, especially if you're not really used to the idea of watches and you need to build up some trust in there. So that's point number one. Point number two, now I'm going to contradict myself a little bit on this one. So point number two was fashion watches. And I know that earlier in the video I said I've got nothing against fashion watches, but I did say as well that I would never buy one. I would always tell people on these videos as well to never buy a fashion watch, and the reason why I would say never buy a fashion watch is because in my opinion they are overpriced. A lot of them work on the marketplace that they're affordable luxury, but they really aren't. If you look at the movements in them, they're quartz movements. Nothing bad with quartz movement whatsoever. I don't mind quartz movements, but please price them as if they are quartz movements. Don't try and price them as if they're some sort of amazing analog design. And what I found throughout my horological journey, and what I've seen in other sort of areas when I've looked into watches and looked into those sort of areas, what I found is that a lot of these Chinese specials, a lot of these ones that you can get that are relatively inexpensive, that are under $100 or $200, as I said before, you know, the magic price points that I like to look at, the specs are much better. They're much higher, they're much better than these fashion watches. So I say, you know, don't buy a fashion watch. If you are really into fashion watches and that's your jam, and you want to buy the Armani watch, the Hugo Boss watch, the Vincero, the Movement, Danny Wellington, all of the other ones, then crack on. If you know what they are, crack on. But if you really are somebody who isn't that au fait with watches and is looking to get started, I would always recommend that. Yes, look at those fashion watches for inspiration on the design. Some of these designs are absolutely beautiful. They really are, but when you get into the inner workings of them and the actual bits that are on there, you think it's not substandard, but it's overpriced for what it is. Number 3 of the watches that you definitely shouldn't buy or definitely shouldn't invest your money in are big brand names just for the name. So a great example of this, if you're into certain types of watches and somebody says, well, these are the latest watches that you want to be getting, you want to be getting yourself an Omega watch, or you want to be getting yourself an Orient, or you want to be getting yourself a Seiko or a Citizen, don't just get it because people have said that's a good watch, get it. Which is a bit of a juxtaposition, especially when I do review. Have a look at the watch, do your own research into the watch itself, but don't just buy something because you think that's a name that I recognise, and that's just going to be good. Because unless you love the watch, unless you love the design of the watch, unless you decide that this watch is perfect for what you want, then you're never going to wear it. It's the same thing that when you're on holiday and you buy something and you think, like for example, I got a thing with hats, and I bought a cowboy hat when I went to Calgary last year. It wasn't a proper Stetson, but it was a lovely hat. and I do wear it every so often, but there are times when I bought it and I thought, what was the point of buying this hat, because I'm never going to wear it. You know, I'm not going to wear it all the time, and you should have that same feeling with anything that you have, whether it's shoes, whether it's a suit, whether it's a shirt, whether it's a watch, whether it's a car, anything like that. If you're just buying something because of the brand name, and then when you actually use it you think, you know, it's not really for me, I don't really like it, then it is a waste of money. The watch or anything in life that is always worth the money is the thing that you get the full use out of. And you know, there's no point in life getting something that is a big brand watch if you know that you're not going to wear it. So for example, I think Citizen are a great brand, a great watch brand. Will I ever buy one? No, I won't, because I like Citizen, but their style just really doesn't suit me, unless they bring out a particular style of watch once that I think, you know, is going to be good for me to have. I really won't do it. I won't invest my money in there because I know I'm not going to wear it. I'm not going to wear it that often. Same with a Rolex. I would never buy a Rolex. I'll eat my words in a couple of years' time. I bet I'll have enough money to buy it. But even if I do buy it, I know that I'm going to break that cardinal rule, and I'm never going to wear it, because I'm either going to feel it's too ostentatious for me, or I'm going to feel it's too expensive for me to be walking around with, and only bring it out for special occasions and for stuff like that. You know, anything that I buy, I like to use, and I love things to death. You know, I've got leather jackets which I've had for years and years and years, and they're starting to fall to pieces, but it's because I've worn them every single day, and I've shown them, you know, the love and respect of wearing them all the time. And that should be the same with the watches that you buy, unless you are a collector and you're just buying watches just to have another watch in your collection. And the last watch, guys, that you shouldn't buy under any circumstances are the watches that are less than $20. Why? Well, I think the quality will speak for themselves. They are just absolute tat. They will be watches that are being sort of cobbled together. They're going to be watches that really just aren't going to stand the test of time. You'll put them on and they'll probably fall to pieces. The strap will break down, the movement will break, the glass will just shatter because it's made of really, really, really bad materials. So that's the last thing that I would say not to buy. Actually, I'm telling a lie. There's a sixth watch that I think that you should under no circumstances buy. And this one is lovingly referred to in the YouTube community as Frankenwatches. Now, what is a Frankenwatch? So Frankenwatches are watches that are similar to Counterfeit, but they sit slightly separately. So these ones will be genuine parts of an old watch. So there'll be things like Seikos, Citizens, Orients tend to be quite big in those, but there will typically be vintage. They'll be sold in India and places like that, and they will be counterfeit, or they will fall apart pretty easily. And you can tell when you see them, because on the pictures they will look like watches that are much better than they look for the age. You can tell there's been a lot of polishing there, over polishing. There's been a lot of sort of work on that movement, and they're usually for sale at around the $14 to $40 mark. And essentially these watches, there'll be no guarantee on there, there'll be no buyer protection. You buy these watches, they'll be sent across to you, and they will fall to pieces. And remember, guys, as I said before, if it looks too good to be true, that's because it is. And Frankenwatches are a great example of that. So when you do see those watches for sale, and they tend to be on eBay, they might be on Etsy, they might be on some other platforms as well. If you see them from there and it's a named brand that you know and it's ridiculously cheap, unless it's a trusted seller that you know, I would really do your research into that, and I would think again before buying it. So there you have it. That's 5 reasons to buy a Homage watch and 6 watches that you definitely shouldn't buy. So, what do you think of the video? Do you think it was worth it? Do you think it was good? Do you think it's worth me doing any more of these types of videos? As you guys know, I'm just starting out on YouTube at the moment. My reviews might be a little bit stale at the minute, and these videos might be a little bit stale, but it's all part of the learning curve and the learning process. This is just a little bit of fun for me to do in my spare time, to talk about watches, to talk about something that I love. And Homage watches are incredibly important and paramount to everything that I enjoy about horology. So guys, thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video, I'd appreciate you leaving a like. You can subscribe. I will send out more videos, and I'll get some more comparison videos out in the next few days. So again, thank you for watching.